Are you familiar with Dr. Huberman's protocols?
Yeah.
Did you adopt any of the things that his research pointed out, or as far as your protocols and his protocols, do you find that there's any misalignments?
I mean, I welcome anybody who's working on Don't Die. I celebrate. I'm not trying to jockey in the power games of my community. I just want us to thrive in this part of the galaxy. That's really the objective. And so, yeah, it is. So I try to overcome, I'm trying to transcend my own proclivities to the games I was taught to be human, of status and power and wealth and jealousy. And those are just negative emotions that detract from what I think we can become as a species. So I've tried to embody that. Just say let's just all go.
But specifically for nighttime, do you not use light or use your phone or things like that? Or for daytime, do you try to line up the way you wake up with the sun or things like that?
Yeah, those are some of the more commonly known scientific principles. Nighttime, I do avoid screens. I wear blue light blocking glasses. In the morning, I do get light. So he's read some of the very similar studies we have. So there are some that qualify as good enough evidence that pretty much anyone in the community is doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you said you had 10 things that would help you sleep. What are those 10, or is it too long to?
No, I can give you a few. I found if I eat late, it chews up my sleep. Okay. And if I eat the wrong food, it chews up my sleep.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. No alcohol, it kills my sleep. Wind down routine. If I go to bed and I'm aroused, if I'm mad or if I'm upset or if I'm trying to solve a problem or whatever, then it carries over all night. It will ruin sleep.
How do you not do that?
So I had this situation a couple years ago. I used to overeat every single night. In my dark days of depression, and at 7 p.m. would arrive, and I'd call this guy. So I would overeat because I'd put the kids to bed. I was exhausted and just wanted to die. I knew my partner was on the couch, waiting for a fight, and I was like, "Oh God, I just want to be like a possum and just lay down. I want to be able to a possum, lay down and pretend like I'm dead." And the only thought that would give me would soothe my grief was the idea of food in the kitchen. And if I could just eat myself into oblivion. And so I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't stop myself from that behavior. Every day I'd wake up and be like, last day, I'm exercising and I'm going to eat well all day. And then 7 p.m. would come and just disaster.
I get that.
So then one day out of desperation, I couldn't buckle my pants because it was too tight. It's just it felt so uncomfortable. And I said, "Evening, Brian, you're fired. You make my life miserable. You're done." And so it was the first time in my life where I separated myself from my behavior.
Yeah.
And it was this joke. I was like, that's kind of a silly concept. And then I listed out who is Evening Brian? What are his characteristics? What arguments does he use? Today's the last day. Tomorrow we're going to work out really hard. He's very clever. And I just made a rule from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Evening Brian cannot eat. He, under no circumstance can he eat. And that solved it for me. And so then at nighttime, I say, Sleep Brian is in charge. So when Sleep Brian, 30 minutes before bedtime, he's in charge. So any incoming thought of this problem is major and it's gonna cause all kinds of crisis, or you feel really bad about this interaction today. You wish you wouldn't have said that. The Sleep Brian says, "Thank you for that observation. We are now in sleep mode." So we can think about that tomorrow. We have all day to think about that problem. Right now, we're going to focus on priority sleep. So it's a way for me. It's a trick I learned when I was depressed. When my mind said, "You should commit suicide," I learned that was not me. It was my mind suggesting these things. When I said, "Thank you, mind, for that suggestion. I'm now not going to listen to you." So it's a way for you, it's like a meditative practice to filter out life.
Yeah.
That otherwise you're unknowingly ruled by your mind, which is just chaotic, and it's spewing all day long all the reasons why you should hate yourself and kill yourself and not love yourself.
Yeah.
And it's really quite difficult.
Yeah.
So
I've heard people do this with anxiety a lot, labeling their anxiety or even giving it a name.
Yeah.
And then when they hear the anxious thought, "Oh, you're not good enough, you're going to fail in the future," they're able to identify it as okay, that's insert name. That's not me. That's a different thing in my brain that's trying to detract.
Yeah.
That's a really smart approach to even just optimizing little things in your life, like sleep and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
You stop eating at 11 a.m.
Wakes up at 4:30, right?
Ish,
So
yeah.
from 11 to 8:30, at what point does the hunger start to set in? Because you have to get hungry, right? You don't just get used to not eating.
I'm kind of used to it.
Really?
Yeah. It burned me up for a while, and now I'm pretty used to it.
Used to it meaning the sensation of hunger has become normal, and now it's your kind of like baseline?
I'm more satiated and less hungry now. Before I was like excruciatingly hungry, and now I'm pretty satiated.
Okay. And this is part of, I think, the same question. Are you concerned about working out too much because it would increase your caloric intake,
Yeah.
which would offset these other markers?
We've had the same question. I'm caloric restricted, and I exercise an hour a day, and I'm vegan. And so you put those, and I'm on low protein. So I'm on 110 grams of protein a day. Those are all no-nos.
Yeah,
And yet, according to MRI, my body fat and muscle are the top 99.5 percentile. My cardiovascular ability is in the top 1.5% of 18-year-olds. My speed of aging is among the lowest in the world. So according to all the data we can get, my bone mineral density is the top 99.8 percentile of 30-year-olds, which is age min for the test. So by all the data we can see, it seems to be okay. And if there's problems, we haven't yet found it. Again, we're always open to being wrong. But right now, the data looks pristine on every measure we're looking at.
Are there any variables that you are accounting for pharmacologically? For example, blood pressure, or are you on a statin? Like, are there any traditional methods that you take? Maybe you don't have blood pressure problems, but you're just taking them as a preventive measure. What are they?
Yeah, I'm on, actually, so we love drugs.
Okay, this is good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tell us the drugs you're on for everything.
I went hiking and I hurt my shin and I had to go to an emergency room and get it stitched up. So I went in there and the doctor came down. He's like, all right, son, we'll get you stitched up. Before I do so, are you on any meds? I was like, oh, God. Oh, no. So I was like, all right, what the hell? I'll give it a go. I said, well, yeah, I'm on metformin. He said, the drug they give to diabetics? Yes. I'm on rapamycin, the drug they give to people who are doing organ transplantation? Yes. I'm on dasatinib, the leukemia drug? Yes. And he's like, good Lord, son, what's going on?
Yeah.
But it was just, it was such a sobering moment for me to realize like how far we had gone in and how disconnected we were from standard of care. So for blood, I'm on metformin. I do 1,500 milligrams a day. I do a carbose, 400 milligrams a day.
What's a carbose?
It's like a blood sugar modulator.
Same as metformin.
I do metformin. Yeah, we do metformin for polyps prevention. But a lot of people don't take metformin because they're worried about reduction of exercise gains. That kind of gained some popularity. If it did, all my exercise and fitness markers are at the top decile of performance, so fine if there's a cost for paying that. Then I do rapamycin. Maybe you've heard, we do a pretty aggressive protocol on that. And like, for example, to get to rapamycin, it's a drug discovered just recently, and it's really promising in terms of how it extends. The metformin and rapamycin combo was the 10th most powerful longevity study, extending lifespan by 20%.
Yeah, there's what is it? Attia, is that how you pronounce his name? I think he's a big...
Peter Attia.
Yeah, Peter Attia has been talking a lot about rapamycin.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
So RAP is a big one. So on that one, it's a drug that, so we've been measuring the half-life. So once you take it, you have a Cmax where like it peaks in the blood and then it slowly decays through its half-life. So we take the dose and we measure my blood 2 hours after, 24, 48, 72, and 96, and we watch through the decay curve. So we do it all these drugs. We try to measure it as extensively as possible to figure out what a dose to take and why. And so I'm currently on a dose where I do 13 milligrams of rapamycin 1 week on week 0, 9 week 1, 13 week 2, etc. So I rotate between 13 and 9 milligrams per week.
Not asking you to be a snitch on your doctor dealer, but how are you getting all these prescription drugs without having the medical necessities for these prescription drugs?
So they can be RX by any doctor. It's just a question, will the doctor do it?
And he's willing to take that risk.
Yeah, exactly. Because the doctor they may not be familiar with it. They may feel like it's going to endanger their license. So it's not a commonplace thing, and you have to dig into the literature to see it's actually...
One prescription drug everybody should try to take for longevity, quality of life, anything you think. Or 2.
Yeah.
It feels like you need to take a few to offset the side effects, right?
It's so hard. I guess I've learned enough about this to say it depends. Your age, your circumstances, your health profile, it's nuanced.
Okay. Fair.
So there's not just one catch-all for everybody.
It's really the power laws. As much as they're not sexy, sleep, diet, exercise, that's not what people want to hear.
Yeah.
And stopping bad stuff. Like sometimes stopping the bad stuff. People want to do good things because it's an easy thing to do. Like if you buy a
There's no
bottle of pills,
sacrifice. Yeah.
you pop it. When you have to stop eating a pint of ice cream every night,
Yeah.
That's tough.
that's hard. And so motion, yeah.
How do you feel about Ozempic that's helping people stop the cravings for the bad stuff?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So this is the question. If you had access to an algorithm that could, Ozempic is an algorithm.
Oh.
It turns off your hunger. And so this is the question. When we humans hear this question, we're like, fuck no. When it helps us do something we want, we're like, fuck yeah. And it happens so fast we don't even think about it. So Ozempic is a good example of you assemble a few molecules, you swallow it, magic happens. And we're going to have, because AI is now the primary drug designer, we're going to have fantastic drugs.
Yeah.
Really.
Go to prizepicks.com, man, and use the promo code Schultz, SCHULZ, and they're going to match your initial deposit bonus up to $100, okay? It's the easiest fucking thing on the planet. I genuinely mean this. They're
So
going to
fun.
give you these situations where you basically choose more or less. With basketball, more or less rebounds. They're going to put it out there. You choose more or less.
And fantasy, you got to like set your lineups
Too
every
much.
week.
Too much
It's
of an
an
effort.
exhausting-
It's too
Play
much
this
of an
whenever you
effort.
want to.
Yeah, it's incredible. Anyway, prizepicks.com. Shout out to y'all.